Eckhard, you start.
Yes. So my name is Eckhard Schneider, the General Director of the PinchukArtCentre, and I'm pleased and honored to introduce the participants for the launch of the second edition of the Future Generation Art Prize established by Victor Pinchuk. So, hello Damien, hello Jeff in New York, and hello Cinthia in Belo Horizonte, and hello Nick in London, hello Richard in Rome, and hello Victor here in Kiev. I'm glad you all are joining us for this important event dedicated to all young artists all over the world. Even if it seems to me as if carrying old to essence, let me shortly say some words about these famous personalities who are supporting the Future Generation Art Prize. Richard Armstrong, the director of the Solomon Guggenheim Museum and the Foundation. Sir Nick Serota, the director of the Tate. Cinthia Marcelle, the winner of the first edition of the PinchukArtCentre Prize, the Future Generation Art Prize. And Damien Hirst, the patron artist, and Jeff Koons, the patron artist of our prize. You are all, together with other leading artists of our time, leading collectors of our time, and leading museum directors of our time, members of our distinguished board. Since the first launch in December 2009, you are supporting in an amazing way the commitment and the development of young artists. I'm very glad that you are joining us. Thank you for this. And I'm glad to pass over now to the moderator, Anna Sommers-Cox, the founding editor of the art newspaper. Thank you for moderating.
Thank you, Eckhard. Now, Victor Pinchuk, why did you set up the Future Generation Art Prize?
Thank you. First of all, I'm glad to see you, Cinthia. Hi. I'm sure that the weather in Brazil much warmer than in Kiev. Richard, Nick, Damien, Jeff, I'm really happy and glad to see you all in one screen. It's really great. You know, with our prize, we don't want to reward the past, but we want to inspire and present the future. We want to act as social investor into the arts. Our prize is the equivalent of incubator, or if you wish, accelerator for startup in businesses. Everybody can apply from everywhere. Cinthia, you know this better than everybody else. The best get advice and resources for new work and a chance to present themselves to the world. And for me, this is an exciting social investment, and this creating inspiration for societies.
Victor, why did you set it up for emerging artists under 35?
You know, I am absolutely sure that artists feel today what analysts and politicians will understand just tomorrow. That's why I really understand importance of artists, and especially of young artists. And today, we more than ever, we need new understandings and new visions. And you know, we have few formal winners, but we have much more real winners in these competitions, because young people, they can create future generation art network. And with this network, they can show that, network can inspire not only political revolutions, but also revolutions in the mind. And for me, this is most important with young artists.
Eckhard Schneider, can you explain what is being launched today?
I mean, first of all, I should say we had a really successful launch of the first edition of the Future Generation Art Prize in December 2009. And we had more than 6,000 applications from all over the world, from more than 130 countries and all continents. So I'm glad that we have now today the chance to launch the second edition of our prize, showing our and our partners' long-term commitment for emerging artists.
There's quite a complicated application process, isn't there? Can you explain that?
It is understandable that it is a quite complicated but very sensible and useful way to work with. As looking at 6,000 applications, you have to install a certain way of selecting it. So first of all, everyone can apply from today on till for the next 3 months, which is very important that everyone has really access and has a possibility, have time to prepare everything. Second, we installed a system of experts chosen by our jury, a distinguished international jury, and they will work at home, means via computer, to select the participants for the shortlisted artist, which we then have as an exhibition in Kiev from October on till January. And the jury will come then in December to select the winners, and I think in total this makes possible that we have a very, very good and selected way of working.
Cinthia, Marcelle, you won the 2011 prize. Now it's a very generous prize of $100,000, as well as giving you prominence. Can you tell us what effect it has had on your career?
Well, hello everybody. Well, I think it's great to be the winner, but at the same time, it's a very responsibility. During this year, this long year, I received a lot of demands, different before that I received it before the prize. And the most important thing that I think that affected me.
What has the prize made it possible for you to do?
Well, now I can involve more people in my team working with me, and I can pay better than, I can start to pay better than.
Okay, Richard Armstrong, tell me why you're supporting this prize.
Well, it's not only generous,
good.
it's
We're
efficient, and it's egalitarian. So for the opportunities available to young artists around the world, it has no peer.
What do you mean by egalitarian?
Anyone with access to a computer can put his or her work on view and be considered.
So, do you think that the global nature of this prize makes it different from others?
Oh, I do indeed, yeah. That's one of its greatest attributes.
Jeff Koons in New York, you're one of the mentor artists. Why did you agree to do this?
First of all, I'd really like to say hello to everybody on the panel and everybody who's maybe partaking in this right now. But, you know, art's about connecting. And I think it's really important to try to help other artists know what direction is possible for them, or a venue that could be an appropriate way to try to connect. I think if a young artist is interested in participating in an international vocabulary, the Future Generation Art Prize is perfect, because it's about an international audience. It's about a vocabulary that transcends different cultures. I think one of the kind of first mistakes that young artists make is they try to connect in areas that aren't relevant to their vocabulary. So as somebody like Damien, myself, other people on the panel involved with international art, it helps to support the platform that this is about an international vocabulary.
What effect do you think prizes have on an artist's career?
Well, I don't know about on their career, but I think that there are aspects that artists can give them a chance in a way to be competitive with themselves, to participate, to challenge themselves, and to have some sense that the society, the culture, is appreciative of their efforts. And once you have a platform, you are able to receive kind of these responses. But if the platform's not there, something like the Future Generation Prize is perfect. It lets a young artist have a validation of their efforts.
Damien, I wanted to ask you, you won the Turner Prize in 1995. Did that make you a changed man, a changed artist?
In a way, I was. My mother definitely took me more seriously as an artist. I think as an artist, though, you have to be careful that you measure your own successes in your own terms and not in other people's. But I think, to win a prize, it definitely helped my career. A lot of people took me more seriously. Seriously as an artist. And I don't think you can underestimate the power of the cash prize as well. Because I think it enables artists to then, have more ambitious work, have more ambitions, make greater work. The money's the key, really, to enable them to grow.
And what about the globalism? Do you think a prize can be really truly global?
I think art is global, especially today. And I think it needs to be. I think, all artists, because, with TV, advertising and media, I think you have to be able to make things that work on an international level. I remember doing a painting once of a crack addict that got gradually worse as time went by in different images, and then becoming aware that in Japan they got better because you read it the other way. And I think as an artist you have to internationally try to think beyond all those different cultural differences.
Concluding, what do you hope to see from the young artists who apply for this prize of yours?
About this prize and importance for Ukraine, today signs of dynamic developments appear in the new places, and surprising things happen in countries where you did not expect this earlier. And and at the same time, these countries became as centers of, let's say, cultural hubs for contemporary art. And you can think about Brazil or Qatar, for example. And I'm sure that very soon Ukraine and Kiev will become one of these cultural hubs. For me, very important what contemporary art can do for Ukraine and for Kiev. I am really strong believer that contemporary art is one of the most revolutionary force in the world. For example, 5-6 years ago in Ukraine, nobody knew what does it mean contemporary art. And today, we have in the country only one really big queue, one big line of young people. And this queue, this line, is to our art center.
Yes.
I'm really proud about that, and this is also my big hope. Now I will say maybe something very provocative, but for me this prize may be mainly, this is even not about art, mainly this is about future generation.
I've seen the work by some very interesting Ukrainian artists here.
Okay.
Kulik, Mikhailov, etc. Now, getting these artists known outside Ukraine is very important because it also gives an image to Ukraine.
Yes.
How are you going to do that? How do you do that?
From our first really big international show, we tried to put on the same wall, for example, really big worldwide known artists like Damien, Hirst or Andreas Gursky, Takashi Murakami, Jeff Koons and other. And at the same wall, in the same room, we installed pieces of our Ukrainian artists. And automatically, they appeared first time for the international audience, for Western dealers. And very soon, they appeared in the catalogs of auctions. The prices for their works became really, relatively high. And very soon, this topic, contemporary art in Ukraine, became very popular. Now we have a lot of galleries. And I'm really proud that maybe our art center was something like icebreaker. We really established this trend. We were trendsetter. We established this trend. Contemporary art is cool, great, and now Ukrainian artists, they are really like celebrities in Ukrainian society. But 5, 6, 7 years ago, it wasn't like that.
Victor, I wanted to ask one more question. In Ukraine, you have a very old established academic way of training the artists, which is extraordinarily good at technique,
yes.
but not contemporary.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not contemporary.
Absolutely.
But,
Soviet school.
Or possibly
socialist realism, yes, exactly.
Possibly even older.
Socialist realism, yes.
But perhaps something extraordinary can come out of this technical training, plus the opening up of the mind, something that would be characteristically Ukrainian and not, that would not just be an
yes.
Answer. If you would, will you answer that question, Victor, or would you like to answer it later?
No, I'm happy, but I think more important will be if we will hear
yes.
Nick.
Okay. All right, Nicholas, can you hear me?
Anna, yeah, I can hear you.
Good, good, okay, good. A small technical glitch has been solved. The question that I was putting to you, but we couldn't hear your answer, is the one about the awareness that you raised of contemporary art through the Turner Prize. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I would say that the success of the Turner Prize is as much due to the artists as it is to the Tate and the critics for their interest. But obviously creating a prize also gives you the opportunity to have a debate, not between the artists, but rather more about the art. And in a way, the success of the Turner Prize has been not the competition, but to raise the whole level of debate about art in this country.
Yes, because when it started, there was a great deal of mockery, wasn't there, in the general press?
Well, I think that one of the successes of the prize, but also of artists, has been to demonstrate that they have a serious endeavor. And you say mockery, but I think people now recognize that art plays a part in their lives.
Yes, there has been extraordinary change, hasn't there, over the last 10, 15 years. Also, of course, because of the educational effect of your institution, the Tate. What do you feel about having a global prize, a prize that links a country in with the rest of the world?
Well, I think that, as Jeff said, art is now a global enterprise. There's an exchange of information. Maybe the communication hasn't been perfect this afternoon, but you have a sense that people are working across the world who can talk to each other. And therefore, a prize which covers the whole world is certainly a viable concept.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much indeed. I would just like to go back to concluding the question I put to Victor Pinchuk, which is that the Ukrainian tradition of training of artists, whether you think that, in a sense, having been trained in a completely out-of-date tradition, could nonetheless, when exposed to the liberating ideas of contemporary art, produce something which would be peculiarly Ukrainian, you know, different from other Western art.
In Ukraine still we have Soviet or post-Soviet school, and you know what we find, once in 2 years we have Ukrainian prize for young artists, and the winner of this prize has privilege. Automatically he is a participant in the this shortlisted artist. He is number 21 in the shortlist of Future Generation Art Prize. And what we find with Eckhard, for us it was really interesting that our winner of previous prize, he was only one really traditional painter in all these 21 artists from all the world. He was only one really traditional, because everybody else, they came much further. They presented different installations, video art, sculptures, and only Ukrainian artist was really artist as traditional painter. I think they still not enough brave. They still not enough, you know, creative, provocative, etc. And I think participation in the Future Generation Art Prize for Ukrainian artists is critically important, because I think that Ukrainian artists, they can play a very important role in the modernization of Ukrainian society, and I think this this process, I mean participation in this prize, really important for them.
Well, I think it is an extraordinary thing that's happening here. We have almost also succeeded in speaking flawlessly between 3 continents, a small glitch with London, unfortunately. But thank you, Damien, thank you, Jeff, thank you, Cinthia, thank you, Nick, thank you, Richard, for taking part in this webcast. And good luck, all you applicant artists.
Thank you very much for everybody. I'm really proud to see you all, my friends, on one screen. This is beautiful contemporary video installations. It's really great fun, and I'm really happy to see you all here in one room on one screen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.